What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to the Sooner Surge podcast that tells it like it is. It's Monday night, and not a whole lot to talk about, Jay, but we're going to have something to talk about because Hunter has dropped this link in here. Check out this article if you haven't. Hunter has put it, pinned it here in the chat. Check it out about the future of this enforcement arm and what that will look like in power conferences. What that will look like and change in the landscape of college football. That's something we're going to try and get to tonight, Jay. What's up?
What's going on, man? Monday, like you said, you had some softball today, doubleheader action. Sooner
not
softball,
pretty.
Not pretty. It's almost like the 11 a.m. kickoffs in football. The 11 a.m. First pitch in softball, it was a struggle, but they won. They're 17 wins in a row dating back to last year. So, Jerm, I did look at the article. I'm kind of torn on this. Couple reasons.
Wait. Before you start.
Yeah.
Torn. Let's just start with this. Would it be a great thing? Absolutely. You can't deny that.
No. I agree with you there. And I think it's a parameter. You got to have parameters. My thing would be, is this going to lead to more under the table stuff? And I think you have to have parameters. And I think if you read the article, Brian Kelly, other coaches said that there's not going to be, it's going to be a very swift, like once they do this, if you get caught, it's fine and it's very swift. There's no like, it's going to be very quick. You're going to get fined, money, whatever. They're going to take care of it. But
that's what a fine is. That's what a fine is money.
But is there going to be under the table stuff is what I'm saying.
Well, of course, there's going to be people trying to beat the system. It's America. This is what people do, dude. Selfish people, greedy people always will try to beat the system. But there's some other caveats in there I thought were interesting, like the one about transfer limits, certain number of transfers allowed only. There's some things I would be all about, Jay. I'd be all about it. I just don't know that the enforcement of this is going to be feasible.
No, I think it will be.
And they're talking about they don't have a CEO of this organization yet, all these things.
Hey, Lori, good to see you. Good to have you back on here. Hey, the thing is, and 918's right. No matter what you do, if you have no parameters, we have already seen that. It's a wild, wild west. You got to have parameters. I think this would be a great start to have a committee that really does punish quickly, abruptly, because you know how the NCAA works. They're still hashing things out from 5 years ago on some things. So this would be great to have a system that's, hey, very swift, going to make the punishments that need to be made and deal with it hard. And that's what needs to happen. I think you got to have some parameters. It starts there. What does that entail? If you read the article, Jeremy, you mentioned the transfer portal. There was also something about, it didn't use the word tampering. It was basically if you go after guys that are under contracts or something is the way it was worded in there, would be another issue that they're going to, they're going to be looking at a lot of things, and this it's going to happen down the road. So, it's a blueprint, and it takes the NCAA. That's the biggest probably thing about it. 918, it all but makes the NCAA out of the college football business.
And Jay, NCAA is pretty much the same entity as the DMV. They're just slow on a lot of things.
Hey, but real quick, though, before I get to something, I got to say, yeah, the Toby Rowland stuff today, that was news. Dean Blevins retiring. Toby Rowland's going to take over. No, but this right here by Crystal. Thanks for joining us, Crystal. Says, limit players to only one transfer. I don't agree with that personally, because are you going to limit coaches when they can leave?
You can't set a double standard here.
No, you can't limit them to one transfer. But what you could do is say, if you transfer, you have to wait. You have to sit out. There's got to be a rule. You can't just. But I'm for the players in that aspect in a lot of ways. Like, if a guy they commit to OU because they want to go play for Todd Bates, and Todd Bates is gone after a year. I mean,
yeah. Hey, and I got to say something to Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd said sad and happy at the same time. Looks like his boy is leaving to the Air Force tomorrow. I don't understand. Hey, I can't say that I get it because I have 3 sons, and they're not grown that old enough to make those decisions. But I understand how you could be sad and happy at the same time. Probably just bursting with pride, but also sadness as a new normal, maybe. So yeah, we'll be lifting you up, thinking about you as you go through all those emotions as well. But that's cool that he's going to be going to the Air Force. That is well done. That is well done. Hey, Thunder blew a huge lead and it's in overtime right now. I don't know what the score is now, but SG had a chance to win it.
I think they're up by 1 point right now, if I remember right, or if I'm looking at it right. Sorry. Yeah. So that's kind of the news on that aspect of it. When does that, that's supposed to go into effect? The revenue thing is, I think, July 1st, if everything passes in April or something like that, supposedly. So still wait and see. But I thought it was kind of funny that Brian Kelly had the quotes. I mean, out of all the people, Brian Kelly, right?
That was interesting. Again, I'm not holding my breath. If I do, I'll drown. Because I mean, that's just all there is to it. You wait around for this stuff to happen, it just doesn't happen. Okay? Don't get my hopes up. Do I like it? Absolutely. I would absolutely love some kind of entity in place to monitor, to police this stuff that's happening. I just don't know if it gets there, Jay.
Well, if you were to ask 100 people, I don't want to do the family. Is it the Family Feud that does that? Survey 100 people. If you were to survey 100 people and say, do you want there to be rules in place, or do you want to just let it be free for all? Every 100 people were going to say rules. So this is a start.
I don't think 100 would say rules.
Oh, I do, Jerm.
I think there's some that would want the free for all, Jay.
No, I think you're wrong. I don't think anybody wants what it is right now. It's just nobody wants that. Answers are on the board. Survey says, okay, 98%. We'll go 98, Jerm. It would be the number one answer on the board, okay? Hey, the other big news, the NFL Combine, baby, starts on Thursday. I saw where
I'm not a huge fan.
Nate Downs put out that Ethan and Danny going to be rooming together there. So I like the Combine, Jerm. I know you don't. I do. I like it.
And speaking of likes, Lori says, "Come on, guys, hit that freaking like. Come on." Lori's going to do her best to get us to 100 likes tonight. That's what she does. We've missed her. Others have tried to step in her place, but there's only one Lori who gets likes. Okay.
What's up, Chester? Chester says, I was free for all. I just didn't realize we truly are Brooklyn. He was for free for all too. 14 players at the Combine for Texas. Texas lost a coach today. You know what was crazy about that? Did you see any of that? They lose the coach, and then it had to have been within I don't know, not very long. They already hired somebody I was like, what?
Yeah, they knew he was leaving, Jay.
And I don't even know if the guy they hired replaced him or what. I just saw they hired somebody. I didn't get a chance to look at it, so I was kind of busy this evening, so I didn't get to see.
OU softball today. It wasn't the best outing for Audrey Lowry, true freshman.
No,
and then
wasn't.
Monticelli. Wow, look at the Thunder here. Down 1, 23 seconds. Whose ball is it? Cassidy Pickering with the 3-run walk-off today was massive. She's been really hot in this last couple of games.
Looks like they're down 1. Timberwolves have the ball. 10 seconds left. So
this is a debacle of a loss. It's a debacle of a loss. It's a travesty on a loss.
Yeah, they were up pretty big. So
they were up 20, I think, with about 6 minutes left.
So is Chet going to play every other game the rest of the way?
Probably.
I don't think that's a good thing for the Thunder.
I didn't see Presley on the list.
He was. I didn't see him either.
Yeah.
Now, Crystal, this is an interesting topic. I want players to commit to their schools. It's better for college football. Okay, but it's not the way it is these days. We were talking about this. Okay, after the live last night, I got on the phone. We were talking about this because we were talking about the fan support for basketball, if you remember right. And, I know plenty of people that are from here, from Oklahoma. Maybe they end up going to Iowa or they go to Iowa State for 4 years. They graduate and you're like, oh, you guys are Iowa State fans now. It's like it was in their blood. They went to school and that's who they were a fan of. It's not that way anymore. Just because the people that go to OU does not mean they're OU fans. It just doesn't.
There are some.
There's some, but it's just not the way it used to be, I don't think. I think that's kind of changed.
Porter Moser says huge win for softball. They beat Bowling Green.
Yeah, it's not like a big win of who they beat. It's not a big win of who they beat.
Did I say huge win, Jay?
I think somebody in the chat said huge wins today.
I might have said when I didn't mean huge by who they beat. I meant huge walk-off against a team you had no business even being close to. It would have been a massive loss.
Yeah. Every win is huge, John Logue says. Hey, I tell you what would be huge is Wednesday night. Did you see? Okay, I saw this. They put out 2 for $20. Go to the baseball game in the afternoon and go to the basketball game at night on Wednesday. 2 for $20. I don't know if that'll help much, but it's
a weekday. It's hard for people to go to both of those.
No, it's not hard for people to go like that live right there.
Well,
I mean, the baseball game's what, 3:00, I think, maybe.
Hey, with how much Texas lost, do you think Texas loses more games? I think there's a chance they could lose another game than they did. One more.
Okay, now.
Depends on how good Arch Manning is.
Okay, but I'm going to take it. I want to ask this question for the chat here. Right now, on whatever date this is, yes or no is all I want to say. I just want a yes or no answer. Are you picking Texas in the playoff?
Man, that's tough, Jay.
That's
tough. Where is my picture? I can't even see my face.
I see you.
It's a black.
I'm asking this to a bunch of OU fans, so probably the answer is going to be no to most of them. I would say yes. Here's the reason: they've been there 2 years in a row. I think there's a good chance they're in it again. They got the same schedule as last year, and I know they're losing a lot, but guys, I think they had number 1 recruiting class last year. I think they got a lot of talent on the team. Okay. The question was, Sooner WX, are you picking Texas to make the playoff again next year for 3 years in a row? Jason, will OU be in the college football playoff? I can't pick that right now. I can't say yes. No, I would say no right now. There's no way I'm going to say yes with that schedule that they're going to be in the playoff. Can they be? Well, yeah. I mean, anything can happen. I'm not going to say, but am I picking that? No, I'm not picking that. And there's a lot of people this way, 918, that really like Manning. Porter Moser saying Texas is not going to be bad in the NIL era. Not going to be bad. Agreed. I would agree with that. I think there's a lot of people that when you see guys that teams lose a lot or whatever, sometimes the average person maybe doesn't know what's behind it. And they got some talent behind what left. I don't think with that schedule they have, I think they're going to be in the playoff. Okay. I just think they will be. Jerem, you back? What happened, man?
I'm back, man. Finally.
What happened?
I don't know.
So you're not picking Texas? You're not picking Texas in the playoff?
I think they lose one more than they did this year. They'll be right there on the verge.
Jason.
Jackson, I'm going to say over that number.
I would say
I'm going to say over that number.
It doesn't mean it'll be very much over that, I don't think.
Oklahoma City down 3, 6 seconds.
Yep.
They were up 25. What a debacle of a loss.
And ball game, they lost. So game
Who shot
is over.
it? Who shot it?
Based on ESPN, it looks like it was Shea. So
that's a bad loss. Bad loss, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, what's their big lead in the West? So they got pretty good sized lead. It's not like they're going to lose the first place.
I'm worried about the Lakers. Man.
Yeah, the Mavs aren't a concern anymore with what the injuries they've had.
Ant-Man and Gobert didn't even play, neither did Conley. It's a bad loss.
Yep.
Sooner WX is picking OU in the playoffs. Yikes.
Like I said, it could happen, but I'm not picking that. I don't know. Sooner WX, what are you basing that on? Like, what's telling you, or are you just saying, hey, I think this is a year? I mean, give me some facts of say, okay, this is what I think, this is how I think they're going to make the playoffs with that schedule. Because with that schedule, you're going to have to be 9-3 to have a chance to make the playoffs. So
we've said this.
That's the question.
Okay. What was OU's record this year, Jay? 6-7. Okay, let's take the Navy game out.
Why are you bringing that up? Yeah.
Let's just think about this. 6-6. Just because I'm bringing it up because it's the same exact schedule next year, just different venue. Okay, it's the same teams, different venue on the conference schedule. So my question is, are there 3 games in the SEC that you would say, you know, if they just had any inkling of an offense, that this team would have won? Missouri is one.
Missouri's one.
Missouri's one. I mean, what other ones? I don't know if you can say Ole Miss because they played pretty good offensively first half.
I mean, yeah, I think Ole Miss was a game that was a winnable game. And here's the thing. I think it's kind of with what Chester's saying, and maybe this is why people are doing it. Tennessee's another good option if they want to turn the ball over so much, Jeremy. Chester says, in my opinion, I think our schedule's easier and Texas is harder compared to the past year. I think a lot of people are saying, hey, OU defensively is going to be playing a lot of new quarterbacks. And that could go into OU's favor. And I would agree with that. It could.
I do like I like what Sooner threw on, and I agree with that philosophy. OU, Houston, they could have lost. Auburn, they could have lost. I agree. I'm just saying a big time quarterback or better offense can help some things. Now I will say Ole Miss on the road. I mean, Ole Miss coming to Norman, I like that. South Carolina on the road. South Carolina will always be a tough place to play with Beamer. Getting LSU at home helps, but then you have to go to Bama. So every one of these, like, people can say, well, it's easier. It's hard. I don't know. It depends on what those teams have to offer, period.
Yeah, and Chester, I disagree on the schedule thing. OU schedule's way harder than Texas, but
way harder.
Hey, Jenna, where was it? Oh, this. Here's the thing, Samurai. I'm with you. If you were to take last year, and if they would have had receivers and had a better offense, would they got 3 more wins? Yes. But you know what, Samurai, that doesn't translate to this year. You can have good receivers this year and a good offense. What if something else goes wrong this year? What if your defense falls? All I'm saying is that you haven't seen it yet all put together in any year yet. So that's what you got to wait and see.
I don't like the coulda, woulda, shoulda either, so we might as well move on. Purple Orca says, I like getting Underwood at Michigan early. I'm not even sure Underwood's going to be the starter. And if he is, I absolutely love getting him early. It'll be as a – hey, I'll say this. Whoever is the quarterback at Michigan, it's going to be one of their toughest tests of the year because OU's defense should be pretty good. But if it's a true freshman on the road in Norman, I like BV's chances as far as at least confusing the kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, this wasn't mentioned yet, but for OU to get a visit on there, massive. But here's the problem. Isn't that his last visit? I think it's out of the 5 schools, they got the last visit, which we've talked about this before. Is that the best? Is that the worst? Like, here's the thing. I think he goes to Texas the week before. It might not get past Texas. I don't know. I would love to get the visit. It is a champion weekend win-win. Agree there. I agree with that. But you got to get it there. That's what you got to do. You got to get it there.
Jay, did you hear this? On 3 guys said Jackson Arnold could get BV fired. I'm assuming you're talking about if Auburn beats OU in Norman, then that's going to be really bad. But again, there's a lot of things that could be it. Could be BV fired. Porter Moser stand. It's funny, our fan base will find every excuse known to man for football. But we'll talk about the Who's program. Okay, first off, Porter Moser stand. Porter Moser hasn't made the big dance his first 3 years. He may not make it this year. And guess what? Until this year, it was pretty smooth sailing for Porter Moser. I mean, people can say what they want. I know I've been critical of him for 4 years. Most of the fan base hasn't really given a rip about Porter Moser not making the big dance. And that's sad because they should make the big dance. My goodness, this year, 6-12 will get him in. 6-12 will get him in. They should make it.
Hey, I got a question. Who's the best quarterback OU's going to face next year?
I mean, talent-wise, you might say Arch.
Got to be Arch. Got to be Arch.
Talent-wise.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, who?
I think Nico. What about Nico?
Nico or Arch probably
Sellers.
be the 2.
Sellers at South Carolina is pretty doggone good, Jay.
Yeah.
I know.
You know what?
I know you're not sold on Sellers. And there's the
Nussmeier's the answer.
There's the answer. Garrett Nussmeier. The answer is Garrett Nussmeier.
That's my answer. I'm going.
He is the best pro-style, prolific quarterback out there. Garrett Nussmeier. I've been high on him forever.
My top 2 that they're going to face would be Nussmeier and Manning. Because here's the reason. I am not sold on Sellers. I'm not.
I know. We know you're not, Jake.
Okay, that's fine. I know people came at me last year. I'm just not sold on him. I'm not. So I would go Nussmeier and Manning would be my top 2.
Nussmeier is going to be rolling into Norman, slinging it around the yard to guys like Nick Anderson, Bauer Sharp. You talk about putting OU fans in misery. That would happen if Bauer Sharp breaks free for 80 yards.
Hey, Germ, I got to say this though. I know you're a huge Nick Anderson guy. I get it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But could Nick Anderson just not be as good as everyone thinks?
No, Nick Anderson's special, dude.
Germ, he had 1 year, but he hasn't played much. He can't get on the field.
Now, if you're asking me if I think he's going to be healthy, I'm not saying he is. That's the big question mark.
That's what I'm saying, like contribute.
If the dude plays, he's really good, Jay.
I agree, but to contribute, to play, you got to be on the field.
Oh, I agree. If you're going to – that wasn't the question. You said, is there a chance he's not as good as people think he is? No, he's good. He's really good. He's got the size. He's got everything you need to be an elite wide receiver, Jay. He just got to play.
So did Jaden Hazelwood, Jerm.
Yeah, Jaden Hazelwood's speed was bad.
2 revenge games at home. Yeah, you got Alabama. And who's the other one I'm missing?
For a revenge game?
Yeah.
Who was their other win in conference, Jay?
I'm drawing a blank, dude. Drawing a blank right now.
Well, it wasn't LSU. They didn't beat LSU. They didn't beat Tennessee. They did beat Auburn, but that's not a revenge game on the road. Ole Miss, no.
Missouri.
Yeah, but Auburn's not on the. Yeah. Oh, he's saying both at home revenge games.
Oh, you're saying that OU.
OU beat Auburn, though.
OU beat LSU. That's what he's saying is the teams they beat are coming to Norman, but you get them in Norman.
Players. Yeah, players. Jackson Arnold coming.
Oh, I see what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got what you're saying. Hey, let's open up the phone lines. Drop that phone line link in there. Let's get it going.
Where was I?
But you know what, though? You know what? The revenge thing to me does not. When a guy like Bauer Sharp, who was there like 9 months, doesn't mean a whole lot. the guys that like got recruited by OU and there, that's a little different, I think.
Hey,
But
Hunter.
some guys are like
Hunter,
1 year. I don't think it's
Hunter, did he get hurt? Because I don't think he played the last 14 minutes.
who.
iHeart.
Lori, I hope not. Can you imagine the post game live to that? Can you imagine how that would be? Golly.
Yeah, I don't get. OKC went small and they started jacking up threes and they lost.
And it bit them because they couldn't box out and rebound either. It bit them, man.
Oh, broken nose maybe. Facial contusion. There we go. Surgeaholics are all over it. And we got Sooner Surge for life. If it ain't Sooner Surge, it's Chester right here. What's up, Chester?
Hey, how is our schedule not easier with all the new QBs we're going to have and all these tough teams being in Norman instead of on the road?
Well, again, let's just go through it really quickly, Chester. And by the way, when I said easier, I was saying
let's go
easier.
through it.
Wait, just a second. I was saying easier that it's not easier than Texas is.
Yeah, you think Texas is?
I think doesn't Texas have to play Ohio State on the road this year?
Well, I'm talking conference.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant overall schedule. My bad.
No,
I must have misunderstood.
Let's go to the SEC.
Well, even that, it might be easier this year because we get Bama and no. We got them on the road, but all the other ones, we get them at home. We got LSU at home.
The road games for the OU and the SEC this year: at Bama,
Bama, Tennessee, South Carolina,
at South Carolina.
That's pretty brutal.
Let's just say you win one
that's
of those
tough.
three.
It's tough, but it's not as bad as what we just had.
So
when we had LSU, Auburn, and I'm missing some. Oh, I forgot Texas is a stupid neutral site. But yeah,
LSU,
I think it's overall easier.
I would say Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina is as hard or maybe more difficult than those three.
Now you're right.
I don't think Alabama will be as hard. They're having a new QB.
No, that's true.
Right.
It is a new QB, but
hey,
you're right. You're right when you talk about like if you look at the top half of Texas schedule with Ohio State on the road and at Georgia, those two games are brutal.
Yeah, Georgia's a very hard place to play.
Yeah,
it's not easy there.
It is.
To me, it's probably a lot tougher than maybe other than LSU. It's probably the toughest place to play in the conference.
I think LSU. What about the Swamp? Is the Swamp? I mean,
well, because Florida's been down for a little while, but yeah, environment-wise, that would probably be second most difficult behind LSU.
That game's going to be an interesting game. Florida, Texas.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They might actually have a little bit tougher than us this year.
Yeah, I mean, Texas isn't easy.
Texas's schedule is going to be harder than they had last year. I don't think
I agree with that.
I don't think it's as hard as OU's right now. But I think
we don't have to go to a Baton Rouge this year. We don't have to go to Georgia. So I think this season's is a little bit. Tennessee's tough, but we've won there before. I mean, we've done it before. We can do it again. Oh, wait a minute. No, we can't. Not with this coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of getting our hopes up to think we can just roll in and knock some.
Yeah, I'm trying to pretend like we're still relevant because we're not.
Hey, we'll see, man. We'll see. I hope they are this year. I hope they have a good year, man.
Oh, so too. Y'all have fun.
Hey, have a good night, Chester. South Carolina is a great environment. You got to hope you get that game early in the day. But here's the thing: when you talk about Texas, the schedule that Texas has, where they get a little bit of, I think, when you say if you look at compared to OU, they both play tough teams. You're in the SEC, but I think we talked about this before. I think the issue with Texas getting a little bit easier schedule, in my opinion, is because you got Vanderbilt, Kentucky. I mean, you got some teams that, Kentucky's, they're okay, but they're not like, and I guess you could compare that to Auburn, maybe. I mean, maybe that's fair.
Hey,
I mean,
Ron Wood said he heard Caden McFarland on the radio on the Sports Animal today say that he thought if OU goes 7-5 and they're competitive in those losses, Venables would be safe. And he's probably right. In my opinion, he shouldn't be safe. He shouldn't be. He should be gone.
Right. Ron, he's right. He's right though, Ron. He will be. And Mississippi
And
State's
that's a
the other
travesty,
game.
Jay. That would be 2 6 and 7s, 1 7 and 5. You can't keep that around.
Yeah, Mississippi State's the other game they play. So that's the and this is a great comparison. Porter Moser basketball team, like OU football in the 90s. They couldn't beat Texas. That's a pretty good comparison.
But Gary Gibbs would go 9-3 and not beat Texas, but there's a difference because Porter Moser's not even making the dance. To me, it's more equivalent of not. To me, Jay, it would be like OU football not making a bowl game. And that was right in John Blake era. They didn't, but that's why I think Porter Moser is much more like the John Blake era than the Gary Gibbs era.
Lori says, "Oh, you better go 9-3. If they want to make the playoff, they have to go 9-3." Stason says, "Stason Stegall, give Texas our schedule and they don't make playoff. They might not, but they might. I can't say. I can't do a hypothetical. It'd be a tougher schedule." Randy's asking, any thoughts on Dean Blevins? Okay, here's my deal. I got to say this. I like Dean Blevins. I know a lot of people think, oh, he's older. His tweets are bad. I like him. I've always liked him. I like listening to him on the Sports Animal when him, Jim, and Al go on there for the dominant duo or whatever that is at late 5 o'clock time-ish. I like to listen to it. I think, guys, he's been around doing it for a long time. He's not going to be the same as when he was 25 or 30, but I like him. And he's one of the greats to do it when you look at his career. News-wise.
Jay, he's done so much on television with golf, with all kinds.
All the coaches shows and stuff.
No,
he's all timer. He's an all timer, man.
He's big time. Now, again, I can use examples. You can compare it to anyone who's kind of past their prime and still coaching or still playing. If you're going to remember Dean Blevins for his last year or two, that's not the Dean Blevins you should remember on air.
I got to say something because some people just joined. Dean Blevins did not. Nothing happened. He didn't die. We're not talking about remember him that way. It's because he's retiring. Okay, I don't want people to get confused. He's retiring. Okay. That's what it is, and deservedly so. Retire, enjoy time with family. And you know what I'll say about Dean Blevins, based off stuff I've seen on Twitter, is he has helped a ton of people in the profession. Okay, to me, you can talk about things all you want. It's just like coaching. If you help guys get better to be coaches, you're doing your job well. When guys like Toby learned down there, TJ, and you go down the list, a lot of guys, he's helped a lot of people out.
Hey, and by the way, Ron's wondering about if he'll do play-by-play. I think he absolutely will. Now, I think the bigger question, does he do his radio show in the morning? Does he do all the other stuff? But he's going to be the voice of OU football, period.
Hey, real Chester, if you want Hoover, I'll try to get Hoover on. If you want Hoover, I'll ask. Get him in here maybe for the live show. He'd be fun.
Sooner Cowboy, you're wrong. You're wrong. What makes people think that he's going to back off play-by-play like that? He hadn't said it.
To me, if he's going to give up something, it would be the morning radio show.
Right. I mean, he's not going to give up OU play-by-play. That's ridiculous.
No, he's not. Could replace Blevins. He is replacing Blevins. It's done. It's done.
What
deal.
does Hoover know about compliance? That's what Chester wants.
He wrote an article about it recently, Jerm.
I get it, Jay. I get that part.
Sooner Thrawn says, my buddy was a broadcast major. Never saw him one time. I'm just basing on what I see on trivia. Longhorn Live for a segment. LOL. We reached out to a year ago, tried to get something going with the Longhorn. But maybe when it gets closer to football season. I need to get SEC Mike back on here. I think a lot of people are like, I think he's pretty unbiased, SEC Mike, but I think a lot of people, they think he's against OU. I don't see it that way, but
it's great entertainment. Great entertainment. Man, Jay, what else is going on? There's not a lot. It's a quiet Monday outside of news that we've already talked about.
It is. It is. It's going to be. Here's the thing. You got the combine. I know you don't like it. I think it's pretty good TV.
Some parts
man.
I like, some parts I don't.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what I want to see what Danny runs. I'm interested to see what he runs. We might need to get Steve Stutzman back on here after the combine. Tell us what his thoughts are if he goes down there.
Absolutely. And I do agree with this. Ron, Blevins would tell it like it is. Like, he stuck his neck out plenty of times. OU has had some great play-by-play guys. You got John Brooks, the Jiminy Christmas voice, Bob Berry Sr., and then Toby Rowland. I'm trying to think who I left out. It's kind of that was the
okay.
order.
I got to tone low. I got to tell you, when you say favorite OU play-by-play guy, okay, to me, and
Mike Treps. I left Mike Treps out.
To me, this my opinion of this is, and it might be this way for a lot of people. I think any play-by-play guy, it's who you listen to the most. And Toby Rowland recently for me has become my favorite. Now, I listened to Bob Berry Sr. a ton, okay? I was a lot younger, though. And I vaguely, and maybe this is later on in his career, like, I didn't like him as much as I did early on. But he was a GOAT, man. He was so good at what he did. But I think because I've listened to Toby more probably on the radio, and I think because he's visible on TV, he does the in the booth. You didn't get that with Bob Berry Sr. You didn't get all that stuff.
Let me ask you this.
See him more in action than you did Bob Berry Sr. But Bob Berry Sr. was one of the greatest of all time, man.
Best play-by-play in the history of sports. Who is it?
Oh, come on. That's a Vin Scully has to be up there.
He's up there, but he's not the top. Like, Brent Musburger has to be up there.
What about Keith Jackson? Walter Cronkite. Al Michaels.
Al Michaels is one of my favorite. Mike Tirico's good.
You know what? You know who I really love? Chris Fowler.
Fowler's good. Fowler's good, Jay. Brad Nessler. I mean, maybe my most disliked of all time is Bob Costas.
No, but see, that's not fair because I think, and I said it about Bob Berry Sr., I think sometimes when guys maybe stay too long, that's what you remember about it. People remember Bob Costas recently because he hasn't been good on some things. But in his prime, he's one of the best.
Yeah, and I would say this, Jay. A guy where you just turn it on and you recognize it immediately tells you a lot. And every name that's been mentioned fits that category.
The other thing to me is this, and this is why this guy right here that I've highlighted the comment has to be up there because somebody that can do multiple sports. I mean, Jim Nance, don't forget until recently, NCAA tournament, he was the voice. Masters golf, voice. NFL football, voice. 1 year he called the Super Bowl, the Final Four championship, and the Masters. Tell me who else has done it. It's unmatched.
It is, Jay. And
who else has done that?
To go from Final Four to Augusta, Georgia in a week, like, sign me up. Now, sign me up. I'll do it for free.
You know what? He might be the greatest.
Hello, friends.
If you have to go by doing the versatility of everything. Because go down these other guys. Brent Musburger, Keith Jackson, they didn't call basketball. They didn't call,
Musburger did.
He didn't do golf.
He's known for football, but he did basketball.
Oh, and Matt, I am not a Clark Kellogg fan. I'll just say it. I'm not.
Oh, I can't stand. I cannot. Hey, you're looking live from Norman. Oh yeah, that gives me some goosebumps.
You know what's crazy though is as much as I love Toby Rowland, Jeremy, you know this too because I talked about all year last year. I am when they do those scene setters, I want different voices on there. I don't want to hear Toby every time on a scene setter.
I agree with you, Jay. I know there's
Like,
a lot of people who love the tradition.
I know people do, but I like get Boz, get some other people on there. I think it's cool to get other voices on. And they started to do it some. And nothing against Toby. I just like changing it up.
Yeah.
Cassell did boxing when boxing was popular.
Yes, I saw you, Matt. I'm not a huge fan of Clark Kellogg. Chris Berman, Jay, do you remember his tagline? Baseball?
Yeah, he did a lot of taglines, but his most famous. Yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you what gives me goosebumps. I'll tell you what gives me goosebumps right now. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. You know it?
Yeah, that's NFL primetime.
Love the primetime theme songs. When I hear that, I just love that thing.
Did you know that show's still on?
It is Tom Jackson. Hey, well, Jay, Tom you Jackson. Had that, and then you had the Baseball Tonight with Carl Ravitch. The OG Baseball Tonights were the OG Baseball Tonights are great.
Mike Breen is really good for basketball, but yeah, I mean, we could talk about a bunch of guys. You know what? I grew up listening to Royals baseball. You did too, Jerm. Danny White.
Oh, yeah. And Jay, who's the best baseball journalist of all time?
Danny Matthews, Fred White. Sorry. Go ahead.
Best baseball journalist of all time. I want to know if Hunter knows it. I know you know it, Jay. See if Hunter knows it. Hunter, who's the best baseball journalist of all time? What was a staple on ESPN? The guru of baseball. Knew everything about it. Was the best. Hunter, drop it in there. See if you know it.
Yeah,
I think that's the trivia tonight.
Oh, okay. But that's an opinion, isn't it?
No, it's clear, Jay.
Oh, jeez.
No one's got it yet, Jay.
Oh, Beano Cook. Now that's a name from the past.
Beano Cook is a name. Remember the sports reporters? I love the sports reporters.
I got an actual trivia though.
And Tone Loc right there. Tone Loc gets it. Peter Gammons, man. Peter Gammons was it. Jay, you got one?
He still is it, Jerm. Yeah, just a second. I got to verify something.
Okay. He's verifying. Mike Lupica writes some great books.
Oh, the sports reporters were awesome.
Yeah, sports reporters are great. Mike Lupica is a great writer, writes young adult realistic fiction, sports fiction books. Great. George Michael's Sports Machine. Wow. I remember that.
Here's the trivia for tonight. Here's the trivia. We talked about Brent Musburger. You know, he was on the NFL Today on CBS when it kind of was getting going. Who was the analyst with Brent Musburger? Jerm, you should know this. I had to verify it, but the analyst on there. His name has not been mentioned yet. That's why I wanted to ask it as a trivia. Do you know it?
Did you say with Brent Musburger?
Yeah. NFL Today, CBS. Jimmy the Greek was on there, but that's not the analyst I'm looking for. That's not the analyst. Jimmy the Greek was on there for segments, I believe, but not the analyst I'm looking for.
Jimmy the Greek. Wow.
Not Dan Marino.
Not Dan Marino.
He's not still on it, though.
Not Rick Barry.
No, this is a great trivia. Come on, you'll know the name when you hear it, Jerm. I kind of want to give a hint, but I'm going to wait. Somebody will get it. Now, you're close. Ron, you're very close.
He's got one name right. He's got one name right.
He's got the first name right.
He's got the first name right.
You don't have the second name right.
Ron's so close.
Good guess, Ron. You're close, man.
I know this, Jay. I know this.
Somebody's going to get it now.
Oh, surely someone's going to get it now.
918, man. 918's been on tear on trivia, but we had to skip a couple days because we just winning everything. It's not Irv Smith.
It's not Irv Smith. There it is.
Ooh, I think we got to give both a point. Sooner Thrawn, because he was trying to type in Irv and he says I've crossed. and Tone Loc. Give Tone Loc 2
Irv
points.
Cross.
That was the original. If you remember right, that was like the one to watch. Now it's Fox,
100%.
but that was kind of the one. What was the NFL Today on CBS? And you remember they had those little robots running across the screen. It was such bad graphics, man. So bad.
Man, we're off on a tangent tonight, but hey, there's really not a lot to talk about. But Jay, I know we're at 45 minutes. I know we said we're going to probably keep this in at 45 minutes, but what we got on tap later this week, we do have the NFL Combine. I think maybe trying to reach out to Steve and see if he'd like to come on after that would be great. See how Stutzman does and others, Bowman and others that are going to be at the Combine. And then softball back in action later in the week, but baseball, Jay, tomorrow and Wednesday. And then the big OU versus Kentucky basketball game, massive game at the LNC on Wednesday night. And lots of things to come.
A couple things, though. Baseball, I believe one of the rankings came out, number 16. The other one is this basketball. Kentucky is still down a couple players that haven't been playing. They're still down. So
you have to win it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to play till later on in the season. So game you need to win there in Norman. Let's get out there and support them.
Jackson's going to be there tomorrow at the baseball game. But, yeah, hey, appreciate everyone watching tonight. We're going to be back tomorrow night. We hope you guys have a terrific Tuesday. Before you leave here, hit the like. It really helps our channel. That's what we're asking. Hit the like. Turn on those notifications. Thanks for the prayers. We'll see you all tomorrow night.
Have a good night.